Alright, my name's John. We've been hiking the Grand Canyon all day, and there's nothing that I crave more after a long day of hiking than pizza. And it's always escaped me on how to make pizza on the trail, and I've done some research on the web and haven't really been able to find a good way to do it. So through some trial and error, I was able to come up with a pizza recipe that works, that can be cooked on a backpacking stove while backpacking. The ingredients: pizza crust. This is Betty Crocker pizza crust mix. I just repackaged it in the vacuum seal bag. You can bring the regular bag and that would work just fine. The pizza sauce is dehydrated in a dehydrator. Put it in there for about 24 hours. Gets to be like a fruit roll-up type of consistency, and I've got it vacuum sealed with some spices in there to put on my pizza. Stick of pepperoni, and then for the cheese, you could do some sort of hard cheese, like a Parmesan that you could pack in your backpack and get with you. What I did instead is I packed mozzarella string cheese in this hydro flask. The hydro flask is an insulated bottle like a thermos, and this morning when we left the hotel at 5 a.m. I filled it with ice, and here we are about 13 hours later, and it's still filled with ice, and my mozzarella cheese is nice and cold because I think that is the only way that you can eat pizza, is with mozzarella cheese. So I want to make sure that I had that available. So what I'm going to do here is mix up the pizza crust with half a cup of hot water. So I'll warm up some water, mix up the pizza crust. I'll mix up the pizza sauce in 8 ounces of water. It's really important if you're going to dehydrate your own stuff, to make a note to yourself on how much water you need to mix it with, because it's really hard to figure it out while you're doing it on the fly, and it's actually kind of difficult to reconstitute into pizza sauce. And the tendency is to make it not put enough water in there, and then it's not going to have the right taste. I have in the bottom of my mess kit here, I pre-cut some pieces of parchment paper. And the parchment paper is really light, so it doesn't add any weight to my backpack. And it really makes, as you'll see, the cleanup and everything work really nice when it comes. 4 ounces of water measured on the inside of my pan here. Just going to warm it up. That'll help the yeast. Don't want to boil it, just want to get the water warm there. It always helps to have an assistant with you to help you out when you remember that you forgot a step. And in this case, my lovely wife is going to open up the bottle of olive oil and just pour a little bit on the top, and that'll help keep it from sticking to my hands. A little bit more. A little bit on my hands. Thank you. There we go. And I'm going to cover it up to let it rest and let the dough rise. For my pizza sauce, I need 8 ounces of water, so I'm going to pour the water into my cup here. And I'm going to open up my pizza sauce. So my pre-packed spices and the sauce, which has like a hard fruit roll-up type of feel and texture to it. You just break it up a little bit, throw it in the water, and what I've found with this is doesn't turn into pizza sauce right away. It takes some stirring, it takes some work, and it helps to add a little bit of heat. Get some heat going. Alright, so I took about 10 minutes, and you can see that I got the sauce back to a saucy type consistency. It's not quite like it's out of the jar, and I could probably spend another 5 or 10 minutes. But I'm pretty hungry. Been a long day hiking in the Grand Canyon, so I think I'm gonna call this good enough. You know, as an option, different brands of pizza sauce, they sell little plastic squeeze bottles. You can certainly do that. Being that this location doesn't have any garbage, you have to pack out everything that you carry in. I didn't want to have a bunch of garbage to carry out, so I elected to spend the extra time to dehydrate my own sauce. So I've got my sauce, got pepperoni, my cheese, and my dough has been rising here for about 10 minutes. I'm going to take my olive oil and put it on my hands. This just helps to keep it from sticking. Put a little bit on the dough. Just a small Nalgene bottle of olive oil there. What I'm going to do is take this dough and divide it in half, and then each one of those halves I'm going to divide in half again, and that is going to be the size of the dough that I'm going to make for my pizza. I'm going to be cooking these in this pan, which the parchment paper is sized for. So basically I'm just going to get the dough, work it out with my hands to be about the size of the parchment paper, just a little individual serving size of pizza. And this is the secret to cooking it. I have this Snow Peak titanium set of pans, and there's a smaller pan and a larger pan. And the smaller pan I'm going to put on top of the stove, and then when I put the pizza in, the pizza is going to go here, so that it's not in the direct heat, but rather the heat that builds up in just the air in this smaller pan. And then I'm going to cover it with this. So you'll see how that works here in just a second. I'm going to light the stove. Relatively low heat. You don't need full blast. Just a relatively low setting. Put this on top, and we'll let it cook for about 5 to 6 minutes. Take a peek. Give it another minute or two until the cheese is melted, and it should be good to go. We should have our pizza. And the crust is starting to brown around the edges, and I think this is looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat here on the parchment paper. And you can see the parchment paper a little brown. Bottom of the pizza crust, just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dough. And there you go. You can eat it right off the parchment paper, and that's how you can backpack pizza. And as you can see, as I was cooking this pizza, I've got the next one in the hopper, ready to go, ready to put on the stove. So once you do all the prep, you can start making these in quick succession. Hope you enjoy making pizza while you're out backpacking.